Hey Lakeisha, I wanted to go through a couple of searches that I thought would help you jumpstart your research. So I did a concept map for your topic, and I've attached that to the email. And then on the back of my concept map, I did a couple of research intersections, and we're going to look at some of those in the video. So I was thinking about your topic, and the likelihood that you'll find any sources that deal with all of these components together is really slim. And that's not a bad thing. That's just you as the researcher having the opportunity to pull it all together with your own ideas and support that with the evidence that you find through your data collection and assessment. So the way that I would recommend that you approach your research in the databases is by thinking of the different ways that your topic intersects. So for instance, you may want to pursue one pathway of research that just focuses on what does the literature say about why at-risk students may drop out. And what you're doing is you're building an argument for what influences at-risk students to drop out. What are those contributing factors? And you're just supporting that through what you find in the literature. The same thing would go with another completely different line of research where you're looking at the relationship between blended or online or virtual learning and how that impacts the achievement gap. So I'm going to do a couple of sample searches here, and then that will give you sort of a pathway that you can take in the databases and then continue to experiment with some of the different keywords that I have on the concept map that I'm sending to you, and just try out different pairs of things in the database and see what you find. So I'm going to start from the library homepage. I'm going to click the advanced search option for Bulldog. And then I'm going to go ahead and enter in a couple of my keywords. So I'm going to try at-risk student, and then dropout. And I want to clarify like what age group of students. So I'm going to try middle school, and let's see what happens. All right, so a lot of what it seems has come up in the literature seems to be skewing towards high school, but I do think like this first book that's listed, Why We Drop Out, Understanding and Disrupting Student Pathways to Leaving School, even though it does talk about high school kids, I think that there's some information here that could really pull into your own research. For instance, it says that in our chapter listing right here, it talks about things that happen in those students' early school years and the specific challenges that these students are facing in middle school. So I think that this would give you a lot of really good information. This is not a book that we have in our collection, but you can request it through interlibrary loan. I'm going to copy the permalink so that you can see this record. So let me put that in my email to you. All right, that way we can get back to it. And I will show you at the end of the video how you can get this through interlibrary loan. I would continue to kind of read through this result list and just see what's here that you feel like is worth taking a look at and reading further. If there's anything that's not full text, you can get that through interlibrary loan, just like this book here. All right. So another search that I had come up with that I thought might be helpful, I'm going to go back to my advanced search, and I'm going to clear everything out. I'm going to look at the relationship between blended learning and at-risk students. And I'm going to try middle school again just to see what happens. We may need to take that out. So a lot of the research that's going to come up from the academic journals is going to be really, really specific. You can think about those in the same way that you think about your dissertation. Like your dissertation topic is really, really specific and it's unique to you as a researcher. That's how these academic journals are too. The parts of these academic journal articles that I think you're really going to get a lot of good information from are the introduction, the literature review within the academic journal article, and then the conclusion at the end. So even if there's a part of one of these journals that doesn't fit, so maybe it's one that focuses on high school students instead of middle school students, if you look at the literature, that is going to point you to more resources that deal with that relationship component between blended learning and at-risk students, or blended learning and the achievement gap, those types of things. If we wanted to go ahead and modify this search so that we look at the achievement gap, I can also just change it from up here. Oh, it would help if I spelled gap right. Here we go. And then that gives us a chance to look at it from this point of view as well. So one thing that you might want to consider doing, because you may have noticed our search results are pretty high. You may want to limit your search based on the type of source that you need. So if you want to take a look at dissertations and theses, you can limit to that. And that gives you a chance to look at other dissertations and theses that are based on blended learning and the achievement gap. If you wanted to look at just journal articles, you can clear the filter. That takes you back one step, and then you can look at the journal articles and click that in. And that gives you some flexibility in what you take a look at. Another thing that you might want to consider is if you want to look at resources beyond what we have at Gardner-Webb's library, you can click this Add Results Beyond Your Library's Collection. This will expand your search to include things that are not available full text, and you can always request those through Interlibrary Loan. All right, so to access Interlibrary Loan, I want to show you that process so that you can request that book if it's one you think you might be interested in. If you start back at the library homepage, if you scroll down underneath Request Services, there's a link that says Interlibrary Loan. This takes you to our Interlibrary Loan page, which explains how the whole system works. But the Submit a Request link is right here. You would log in with your Web Connect username and password, the same one that you use for Blackboard. And then you would click Create Request. And if you wanted to request that book that I showed you earlier, you would just click Book and fill out any field that has the little tiny, it's very tiny, you cannot see it, the asterisk next to it right here. There is one of the drop downs, let's see, oh, pickup location. Make sure that you choose off-campus student, so that way we can send it to you in the mail. All right, if you have any questions, please reach back out to me and let me know. We've also got reference chat, or if you want to set up another Zoom session, just shoot me an email and we'll compare calendars and we'll get that set up. I hope that this helps jumpstart your research, and I hope that you get back in touch with me, and then that way we can look at some more advanced searching options once you're ready for the next stage. All right, good luck, and let me know if you've got any questions.